All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to South Asian Man Evolution, episode number 18. I know I'm pretty late, like almost 40 minutes late tonight, but hey, things happen. A little bit under the weather, a little bit sick, a little bit behind schedule on certain things. Had a lot of like editing and stuff to do and video edits and got behind schedule. Um, yeah, pretty long day, but we're here now. So we'll see who comes on tonight. And yeah, as you make your way in, just go ahead, drop your questions in the chat. Drop your questions in the chat. Again, apologies, I'm a little bit late. I'm like 37 minutes late tonight, but better late than never. So yeah, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. We'll see who comes on. Dating, self improvement. Yeah, let's give it a go. All right. We got one person watching. And as always, you can click on that pinned link if you want to join the stream directly and talk to me directly. Or you could just drop your questions in the chat and then I will answer them. All right. Drop any questions you got in the chat. And let's get the show on the road. A little bit sick, got some allergies, but here now. See who comes on, what questions we got. A pretty solid day today. Did some solid morning routine, very solid workout. Bought a bunch of, you know, bunch of stuff from the grocery store, meal prep. Had some chicken, rice, broccoli. Got a ton of video editing done, which is why also I was kind of late because of that. But fought through the pain. Was sick, allergies, a little bit of scratchy throat, but we're here now. Got to fight through it. Mental. It's all mental, man. Any questions? Go ahead, drop them in the chat. All right. J Star says, I have an idea for a new video. How about doing one for an Indian man who suffer inferiority complex living in a white man's world? How about doing a video strictly overcoming that inferiority complex? I mean, I could, but I feel like there's not much to say on that other than the fact that you got to stop, looking at yourself as inferior to certain races, right? Um, I guess my question to you is why do you feel so inferior to I guess other races? What specifically is it that's making you kind of insecure about yourself, you know, in like the Western world? I'm just trying to get more of it, look at it more from your viewpoint. Because for me, I was born in America, right? But I'm curious to see, like, from your perspective, as somebody who I guess is born in India or South Asia, what goes through your mind, I guess, when you're say when you've moved to like the West, right? Because I have a solid idea, but at the end of the day, nothing really compares to someone, who's actually like born in that region of South Asia and then migrated to America or Europe, right? So, yeah, no, tell me what exactly are you kind of insecure about? Um, but I could definitely try and make that video. I could definitely do that video. I have a basic idea, but a lot of it is just you got to stop being so insecure and realize at the end of the day that you're a human being like anybody else, right? You're the same as any other human being. You're the same as every other, I guess single human being also who's trying to level up their dating life, right? Only difference is the race, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't view anyone as superior to yours. Or yeah, you shouldn't view, anyone as superior. You shouldn't view yourself as inferior, to certain people, certain races or anything like that, right? Think more highly of yourself for sure. Be more secure of your race. Don't be ashamed ever of your race. Um, at the end of the day, become the best possible version of yourself in all areas of life and never be ashamed of your culture. That's really my best advice. Never be ashamed of where you come from or your culture. Become the most attractive version of yourself in all these areas of self improvement. I was really attracted to white women. I went to a white dominated high school, could never get one to like me. What's funny about that is I kind of was in a similar situation. When I was younger, when I was in high school, it was pretty tough. It was a pretty white high school. I didn't have this best success with women back then, but what happens, is just like over time, you just do the things that'll make you more attractive and you kind of just forget about the race. The things that'll, over regardless of race, what are the things that are going to make you more attractive, right? So go to the gym, dress better, hygiene, grooming, style, fitness, all of that. And then also working on your social skills. Anybody can do all those, make all those enhancements regardless, of their race, right? But, I wouldn't let as long as you continue to improve your life and make yourself better in all areas, don't always keep thinking back to like that negative feedback loop that you had from like your past experiences, right? The past is the past. You're not going to go ahead and ever recreate that, right? It's the past. You got to let those like things that bother you, let go. You can't be haunted by it, right? Tomorrow's a new day, you know, it's a new day, right? Like every single day, you have a chance to wake up in the morning and, you're alive and you get to, completely change your life, recreate this new life, right? Every single day. So, yeah, continue to do like all the good self improvement habits, like I always tell you to, read books, meditate, journal, dress better, go to the gym, cold approach women when you can, right? Work on your social skills, live a healthy lifestyle, don't be getting drunk and turning up. If you do all the wholesome habits that are going to make you a better person, self improvement, you're just naturally going to get more women attracted to you, regardless of their race. But the biggest thing here, you can't let the past like bog you down, right? You can't let whatever happened to you in the past just, always be infiltrating your head. So, yeah. Okay. What do you write about when you journal? So, I do a mixture of gratitude journaling and then I write at least like one affirmation after that. And then after the affirmation, I'll do like a journal, that same journal entry. I'll do it again at nighttime. Like right under it, I'll write, who I was thankful for being with today. What are some things that I accomplished today? What was some challenges that I faced today? And then when I first wake up, I'm like, what am I grateful for? So it starts with gratitude journaling. That's how I start every single journal entry. I write like 5 or 6 things that I'm grateful for. Then I write after that, right under that, I write some type of affirmation, right? And then under the affirmation, after that, that's like my morning journaling session. Then in the evening, I come back to the journal and then I write, what are some challenges that I faced today? Who did I enjoy being with today? What did I accomplish today? Right. So not only are you journaling, what you're grateful for, what's going on in your mind, you're also going to be writing what you did today in terms of a productivity standpoint, who you enjoyed with being, what are some of the challenges. And then there's a small section at the very bottom of that journal entry that I title self-reflection. Basically anything that's bothering me or anything that I'm happy about that happened on that day, right? And I do that, all those parts towards the end of the day. So to sum it up, I have one journal entry. All right, it's 1 page for each day. I'd say 2 pages for each day. The first page will be the morning journal session where I write 5 to 6 things I'm grateful for and my affirmation of the day. And then the second page will be the challenges that I faced. The second page will be me filling it out at the end of the day, right? What challenges I faced today. Who did I enjoy being with today? What did I accomplish today? And then finally, some notes and reflections, anything that's on my mind, anything that's bothering me, anything I'm excited about. Altogether, those 2 pages make up that single day, each and every day, right, of your journal entries. So I hope that helped. All right. Do you believe in the law of attraction? Um, it's going to be a dumb question, but what is this law of attraction you speak of? Actually, we can look it up. Law of attraction. Let's see what we got here. I'm not familiar, which is funny because I teach dating. Okay, so law of attraction. Are you talking about the philosophy that basically says that positive thinking attracts positive outcomes and negative thinking attracts negative outcomes, with the belief that thoughts are a type of energy that can influence reality? So I believe in this, in the fact that, yeah, you should manifest and implement and have positive thinking. However, you can't just sit there and do nothing, right? You got to actually do the work. You got to actually do the task. And I believe if you do everything the best that you can, zero distractions, you have goals, deadlines, and you do them with zero distractions, and you're positive, you don't bitch, you don't whine, you don't complain, you do what you're supposed to do. I believe that, yeah, you're going to get everything that you ever wanted in life. Now, listen, am I going to say, oh, just be wholesome and think big that you're going to win the lottery and you're going to be a millionaire in a month? No, that's a little too much. But if you have realistic goals and you have actually a plan to get to where you want to be, and you're wholesome, you don't get distracted, you don't do any degenerate shit, and you do what you're supposed to do and you execute, you can get most things in life that you want. You can achieve most things in life that you want. I do believe in that aspect of the law of attraction. Um, and yeah, you shouldn't have such a negative mindset towards everything. You need to have a positive mindset, but at the same time, you shouldn't be so like wishful thinking and just, keep preying upon something if you're not executing. It's a combination of you doing what you're supposed to do. And if you do what you're supposed to do, you don't get distracted. You don't make any dumb decisions along the way that could completely, you know, alter you from the path that you're naturally supposed to be on to get to your goal. If you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to achieve it. There's nothing that's stopping you from achieving it, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's my little take on the law of attraction. Is your journal an electronic journal on your phone, or is your journal handwritten? Nope, it's not on my phone. I want to minimize, you guys need to minimize your screen time. My journal is handwritten. It's a handwritten journal. Write it inside it with pen, fill it out every single day. It's one of the first things I do with my morning routine. Since we're on the topic of journaling, I'll give you guys my morning routine. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I journal. I do the journal entry. Then next thing I do is I bang out 40 push-ups real quick, gets the blood working. Then I'll take a quick cold shower, right? After the cold shower, I'll do a little bit of skincare. Then I'll wrap the morning routine up with a little bit of reading. I read about 10 pages every single day. That's very quick morning routine. So wake up, journal, do my push-ups, cold shower, skincare routine, read 10 pages. Pretty solid morning routine. Bunch of wins right there. Oh, I forgot. Well, technically, very first thing I do when I wake up is I make my bed. That's like the easiest win you can kind of check off, right? And then every single thing, my entire routine, all of it the night before, right? The night before the next day, I log everything into Google Calendar, right? My entire day is always logged in. Everything, every hour of every day, it's always logged in on my Google Calendar. So right after this call, right before I go to bed, I'm gonna make my Google Calendar for the next day. So I'm very organized. I'm pretty productive. I lack a little bit when it comes to being on time to things still sometimes, but hey, sometimes tasks take a little longer, right? But at the end of the day, if you're organized and really, wholesome and live just a healthy lifestyle like I do, right? Google Calendar, organizing everything, the dates, when you go on dates, right? Even putting those on your calendar. When you hang out with friends, putting that on your calendar. The tasks, your daily tasks, putting that on your calendar. And then, you start your day off with like a nice, wholesome morning routine like I do, right? You just start feeling really great about life. You're super productive. So I know I'm going super off tangent, but yeah, no, my journal is handwritten. Interesting, man. J Star's lighting up the comments section. I see 3 of you guys watching. The rest of you all can chime in too. Yeah, so affirmations are interesting, right? It's always like, I don't think I do my affirmations like the traditional way where it's like super kind of like cringy affirmations. My affirmations are more so like, I will continue to become, I will continue to be the best version of myself, that the high tier version of myself that continues to attract quality women, stays ripped, and makes 10K a month. That's like a good like affirmation that I have that I write down every day to just give me like a reminder of like part of life's purposes, right? You know? So I think having affirmations like that are pretty good. Like, I will become the high tier version of myself. I will continue to be the high tier version of myself. The high tier version of myself that has the hot girlfriend, that is super productive, that gets everything done, right? Affirmations are pretty good. I'm just a subtle reminder of continuing to live life the fullest, I guess you could say. So my affirmations, I wouldn't say they're like the cringy type of affirmations. They're more so like goal-oriented affirmations. So one of my affirmations is usually like I will wake up and continue to be the best possible version of myself that makes 10K a month, has the hot girl, and continues to strive for greatness. So it's more so a goal oriented type of affirmation, a little bit different than like a traditional kind of cringy affirmation. I hope that makes sense. Are you afraid that someone will read it? Do you put your journal in a safe? Not really, man. I mean, I live by myself. Like, there's legit nobody that could possibly read it. Knock on wood, unless somebody like breaks into my apartment. But no, I live by myself. I mean, I don't think anybody will ever read it. Um, there was a girl that I used to date like a couple months ago who kept asking to see like my journal entries. I told her no. I told her basically like, nah, that's private stuff. And she kind of like wanted to see it, but I told her like, no, it's private, and she stopped bugging me about it. So yeah, no journal. I mean, yeah, I don't know what I'll do with it. What I'll do with all these journals when it's all said and done. Maybe I'll put them in a safe. But for now, I live by myself, so there's no one really around besides me. Unless you know I go on a date and I bring a girl over, but usually when that's the case, I'll hide my journal in like the closet or something like that. But other than those instances, like if people see my journal, they don't really say anything. They more so just comment. They're like, they never open it or anything. I would never let them do that, but they more so just comment. They're like, "Oh, you journal? That's pretty cool." Solid questions. Oh man. Now this like annoying like fall allergy that happens every freaking like October, and it happens every like March or April. It's so annoying. I get these like horrible allergies too. Even my skin starts to like break out a little. Like I got this huge like little zit forming. It's really annoying. Even like started going ham on skincare. And these are just with allergies, man. I don't know what it is. It's just my body starts kind of like breaking out. But anyways, um, all right. Will Smith alter ego says, I have a comment on J Star point of Indians having inferiority complex towards whites. I've noticed it has nothing to do with white people. A lot of Indians just grow up repressed by family and don't dot 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 stand up for themselves. They become resentful of this fact and make mistakes in life. South Asians need to stop being so controlling towards their kids. We need to play more sports and less studying. Um, I don't think necessarily playing. I think just yeah. I mean, having a more like diverse lifestyle for sure. It can't just be sit and just be studious and read all day, right? It needs to be more fitness oriented, of course. Be more athletic. So yeah, I mean, you don't need to necessarily play sports unless that's your thing, but going to the gym 100%, lifting weights, doing some calisthenics, having exercise be a way of life, right? You know, exercise, really placing that priority on fitness, just it doesn't even have to be lifting weights to start, just push-ups, sit-ups, pull-up bar, pull-ups, right? Place a lot more emphasis on like fitness, right? I definitely think that should be, that's not just your physical health, but your mental health too. And it's crazy is like when I was younger, I would study a lot, but it was like when I would like work out, right? Or like play some sports with like some friends when I was younger, get some physical activity in, and then I would come back and I'd like study. My mind would be a lot more like supercharged and refreshed as opposed to the days where I would lock myself in and just, not go outside, not do anything, and I just come home, play video games, and do homework, right? It would just be like brain rot. But I always noticed whenever I like did some type of workout when I was younger, especially like hanging out with friends, we'd play like basketball and stuff, like growing up in like the neighborhood and stuff. When I'd come back from that and I'd do like work, my mind would be more like supercharged and ready to go, right? So yeah, I definitely think the priority 100% needs to be fitness, right? And yeah, definitely stand up for yourself mentally, develop better mental health, psychological health, so you're not viewing yourself as so inferior. I think mental health is big, and a lot of Indian people, South Asian people, I don't think they have just the best mental health. They always look at things again, it's like that inferiority complex. You know, if you have like an inferiority complex because of your race, that's just mental health issues. And I'm telling you, a lot of mental health issues, not talking to a therapist or anything like that. A lot of your mental health issues could just be solved with like a solid like morning routine, like what I say, right? What I was just talking about. Meditating for like 10 minutes, journaling your thoughts, reading books on self-improvement, mindset, just self-development, right? Reading, taking even like cold showers, right? Really good for blood circulation, really gets, these endorphins running too, right? It's almost like you just did a workout almost. Not really, but you get that really good feeling after a cold shower, right? So if you do like all those good self-improvement habits and then follow it, with a nice solid morning workout, lift weights, come back, you cap off your morning routine, right? You do all those morning habits, then you go to the gym, come back, right? You wake up early also, you get 8 hours of sleep a night. You do all that stuff, man. You won't be having any like depression or mental health problems. I know a lot of psychologists will think I'm crazy, and I'm not the only one who said this in this space. I know other self-improvement content creators have talked about this too. I know Hamza says this all the time as well. It's like a lot of your issues in life could really be solved if you just have a solid, like disciplined, healthy, wholesome lifestyle. If you just get 8 hours of sleep, you quit drinking, you quit going out to the clubs, you quit chasing, degenerate women, and you just really focus on doing healthier, wholesome habits like lifting weights, eating healthy, drinking plenty of water, getting 8 hours of sleep, meditating, journaling, cold showers, right? If you do all of that, it'll just naturally cure your mental health problems, right? So, yeah, I know I went off tangent there, but yeah, a lot of South Asians, I'd really think a lot of South Asians just in general don't have the best mental health. But if they start, my best advice, if you start at the very least with like a morning routine, anything similar to the morning routine that I just mentioned, you're going to start making progress, man, towards bettering your mental health. All right. We're about 30 minutes into this live stream. Got some solid questions so far. At least people are chiming in. Got some diversity in this panel, not just same people asking the same questions. All right. Muhammad Wasil asks, what is my fitness routine? So my fitness routine is very, very simple. I lift weights 3 times a week. I just train aesthetics. I don't do strength training. I don't do like the squat max or the bench press maxing or 1 rep maxes. I just train for aesthetics. So I'll do like full body workout 3 times a week. I'll do boxing 2 times a week. And then, yeah, on all my rest days where I'm not doing any type of workout, I'll wake up, do like 40 push-ups, right? So, okay, I'll give you an example. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lift weights at the end of each weight training session, full body workout, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At the end of those weight training sessions, I'll do cardio, walk on an incline on the treadmill for like 15 minutes. So on the days I don't lift weights, Tuesday, Thursday, I do boxing. I have a personal trainer. I've been boxing recently. Um, and then on my boxing days, those are the days where I wake up and in my morning routine, I do like the 40 push-ups in the morning, right? And then Saturday and Sunday, it's the same thing. I sometimes go to the park and I just do a bunch of calisthenics. There's a park near me that has like a calisthenics little area. It's kind of cool. So on Saturday and Sunday, I actually just go to the calisthenics park. I do like 100 dips, like 50 pull-ups. I can't do 50 pull-ups at once. I bang out like I do like let's say about like 15, 15, 10, and 10. I just got to hit that number 50, right? So I try my best to get to 50 pull-ups in total, right? During that session, I'll try and do like 100 dips, then I'll try and do like 50 push-ups. Again, I don't do them all at once. I like kind of spread it out when I'm at the calisthenics part. But yeah, Saturday and Sunday is all calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, dips. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is weight training at the gym. So weight training exercises are incline dumbbell press, overhead press, barbell squats. I interchange like barbell squats with leg press. Sometimes I'll do leg press for legs. Sometimes I'll do barbell squats. But the consistent ones are definitely shoulder press, overhead press, incline dumbbell press. And then I throw in like some isolation exercises. So lateral raises with the cables. Sometimes I'll do lateral raises with the dumbbells. I'll do some Smith machine workouts, some flies, reverse flies for the rear deltoids. And then biceps. I usually just do bicep curls. I play around with different things at the gym, but most of the time, those are the standard training, I guess, protocol that I follow. So, yeah. But yeah, I take fitness like pretty seriously. I'm doing some type of exercise every single day. My diet is super clean. I can't even remember the last time I had like a candy bar. Yes, very, very clean. And honestly, like when I was younger, I was one of those people that thought that I had depression, but I was really lacking in so many things, right? I wasn't getting good sleep. I was eating like crap and I wasn't hitting the gym when I was younger, right? I changed all those things, and lo and behold, years later, right? I don't feel sad anymore, right? Now, yeah, do I have days where I feel not that great? Do I still have my days where I'm out of it and I'm not feeling up to it? Of course. Everybody has that. But nowadays, it's just a lot more healthier mindset. I'm a lot more refreshed, recharged. I wake up every day like ready to get day going, right? It's funny, even like the gym. I used to hate going to the gym, but now it's like I'm always hyped to like do some type of workout, right? It's funny when I'm hanging out with my friends and like say, I don't hang out like that much anymore, right? I'm pretty busy these days, but when I was like really in that phase, I guess we were like watching TV in between commercials and stuff. I'd like be doing push-ups and stuff. Now it's like I'm just super into like just that fitness, healthy lifestyle. I can't imagine just me like just ever taking a break, from just like I can't imagine a day going by where I don't work out is what I'm trying to say, right? I know I went a little bit off tangent there. But yeah, fitness has been a huge part of my success and my lifestyle and my mental health. And that's why I work out every single day, you know? Even if it's not weights, it could be like just boxing with my personal trainer, or it could just be hitting like the calisthenics park. Yeah. Being Indian back in middle school, I would think that white people put me in the same secretly looked down upon groups of blacks and Hispanics. Um, I mean, I think a lot of Americanized white people know. I mean, listen, you look at all the politicians of our country up until, this like this generation, I guess you could say. up until like the 2000s, right? Before then, all the presidents were like white men, right? A lot of the authority figures in America have been white men. So, yeah, I think naturally it's not surprising that a lot of white people, especially like in middle school, right? They're just like immature little kids. It's not surprising that they might think that, but things change a lot. Um, you know, I mean, when people get older, more mature, right? Viewpoints change for sure. But I wouldn't let, your past experiences with like immature white middle school kids, like, you know, be the judge of what most, I guess, white people think universally. Top three favorite pro boxers of all time. Um, I never really watched boxing, but I mean, Floyd Mayweather is the GOAT. Um, Tyson, I wasn't really watching. I never really watched like boxing like that. Um, I heard Muhammad Ali was like obviously one of the greatest to ever do it. Those are like the top three I could think of off the top of my head, but I never really watched like pro boxing like that. Um, yeah. Watched Pacquiao a little bit too. Do you take any supplements? What's your typical diet like? What do you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? How much water do you take in a day? Um, Currently I don't really take any supplements, man. I intermittent fast. My diet it's pretty clean. I have like 3 boiled eggs every single morning. Um, Sometimes boiled, sometimes scrambled. I'll have like some Greek low fat plain yogurt. And when I work out, I do my workouts fasted. Then afterwards, I'll have that light breakfast, the low fat cup of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and then 3 eggs. And then I'll fast the rest of the day up until about like 5 p.m. Then at 5 p.m., I'll have really one large meal. It could be like a steak, right? It could be some chicken, broccoli, rice, right? But make sure it's like very high in protein. So one pretty big meal around 5 p.m. loaded with protein. Um, Now in terms of supplements, I mean, I know I said like I do supplement with like a little bit of protein throughout the day. Like, I'll have like a protein shake or two. I guess you could consider those like supplements. Yeah, I have like protein shakes like a little bit throughout the day to supplement and get more protein in. Um, I'll have like nuts, almonds. I guess those are like really my supplements in terms of food and protein. But I don't really take like anything that crazy. I just have a very high diet, high like healthy protein diet, right? Eat a lot of eggs, a lot of steak, a lot of chicken. Um, Vegetables, kind of like it's very similar, honestly, to like a caveman diet or just like an old school, like clean, like classic lifting diet. So, yeah, water. I drink a ton of water, man. Like as you can tell, like I'm about to go refill my water like right now, but I have about like I don't know, like 12 of these glasses at a minimum every single day. Like I'm always drinking water. Um, yeah, it's crazy. But hey, water's the best, right? No. Now this is a good talk. I'll be back in like a second gonna fill this up. But yeah, I'm always drinking water, man. Like at least probably like 12 to 14 of these glasses. And then I drink some water too at like the gym and stuff. A lot of water at the gym. So, yeah, a lot of water. Does height play an important role for dating in Western culture? All right, here's the thing on height, right? Some women care about it, some women don't. Some women, as long as you're a little bit taller, right, as a guy compared to them, it's fine. If some women are very picky, some women really don't care at all. I've seen couples where the man is even shorter than the woman, right? And they're Americanized couples, okay? So, yeah, overall, is it an advantage to be taller? Sure. But what the hell are you going to do about it if you're a short dude, right? So don't worry about things you can't control. Just become the best possible version of yourself and everything that you can control, okay? And you're going to meet women along the way eventually that really don't care that much. Some care, some don't. But at the end of the day, are you really just not going to cold approach that girl because she's taller than you, right? So don't worry about things you can't control. Always shoot your shot. And remember this, it's her job to reject you for whatever reason, but it's always your job to at least try. Always at least try. You see that cute girl, cold approach her. If she rejects you, tells you she's not interested, oh well, so be it. But at least you tried, right? I want all you guys to realize that, especially as an Indian guy, never, ever, ever reject yourself. Again, it's your job to always at least try. So, do you lift weights fasted? Yes. I wake up in the morning and right after the morning routine, I go to the gym and I get my workout done fasted. In the past, I used to eat and used to work out in the evening. I always felt bloated. I sometimes used to work out like in the mid afternoon after I ate a meal. I felt horrible. I'll always do my workouts fasted. I just am more focused. I'm more determined. I have more energy, honestly. When I eat and then I work out after that, like later on the day, I just feel bloated. I feel like just going to sleep. I don't even feel like doing the workout, but it's always like in the morning when I'm fasted. That's when I just have like it just my workouts just go so much smoother when I'm fasted, right? So yeah, nowadays, a whole morning routine, including the weight training, the gym part of it, it's all fasted. And then right after the weight training, right after that, I'll come home, I'll have my cup of low fat plain Greek yogurt and 2 to 3 eggs. And then the rest of the day, I don't eat anything. I fast up until like 5, 6 p.m. and have a big, like high protein meal. So that's kind of how I stay like pretty lean too, right? I do like a intermittent fast and then like a very high protein diet. I'm not really eating a lot throughout the day. And then combine that with, lifting consistently, doing cardio and drinking plenty of water, stay pretty lean. You say don't reject yourself if rejected. That is a cool. I guess you got a lot of typos in your sentence, buddy, but yeah, basically never reject yourself. It's her job to reject you if she's not feeling it. But you should never pre-reject yourself. You should never be like, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to try." Always remember that, man. If there's anything I could tell you when it comes to dating, it's just never reject yourself. Stop thinking so lowly of yourself, right? Worst that can happen is she says no, but you're not the one rejecting yourself, right? She's rejecting you. You should never reject yourself. So always remember that. Yeah, good amount of questions tonight, man. Um, yeah, got through a lot today. Just 44 minutes in. I think we'll give it like another let's see. We'll give it another like 15 minutes and we'll call it a night. I know I was kind of late, but yeah, good questions. By the way, for those of you guys coming in right now, watching the stream, be sure to give the stream a like. And if you're watching the stream later on down the road, right? Maybe you're watching this stream tomorrow or in random day of the week. You're not on here live right now. You're just watching this randomly. Just a reminder, like the stream, and to everyone watching, again, if you want to join a great school community, take your dating life to the next level, click the link in the description. Check out my school community, South Asian Warriors. In there, you'll have a lot of more content, guides. I do live calls in there as well, live Zoom calls. And I can even rate your dating profiles in there. You'll get my feedback. I can analyze your text game, even your screenshots, right? More dating questions. There's an entire community forum. I can answer your questions in there. A lot of great resources, guides, exclusive videos, and weekly calls in the school community. So if you want to be part of that, it's just the link in the description. Check it out, South Asian Warriors School. Again, click that top link in the description to join the school community if you're interested. How to keep girl interested in you for a long time? Well, that's simple. You just got to satisfy her hypergamy. You got to satisfy long-term hypergamy, right? You satisfy short-term hypergamy, right? So you meet the looks threshold. Um, Maybe she likes like you're confident. Maybe she sees you're a guy of has a job, status, you're doing things with your life, right? You meet her looks threshold, you're in shape, right? That's all short-term hypergamy. But really to keep a girl, especially for the long term, you got to satisfy not just the short-term hypergamy, but you got to satisfy her long-term hypergamy, right? So continue to level up. Don't let yourself go. Always continue to build, grow your business, level up in your career if you're a career person, right? Don't let yourself go. Don't get overweight, just don't mess up the things that got you there, Don't become like somebody that's complete 180 of the version of yourself that she was originally attracted to, right? So that's how you keep it long term, Don't, emotionally change up. Don't become just a bitch, become like sustain masculinity, right? You know, that's the thing. Women are going to test you, along the way to see what type of man you are in the relationship. And if that's not, if you don't know how to handle yourself around women, it's going to burn in your face, right? So you got to just satisfy, in order to satisfy these women, keep them long term. It's not just the short term hypergamy, but it's also satisfying their long term hypergamy, what they're looking for, right? So never let yourself go, right? Don't change yourself for any woman, right? I know that sounds a little bit toxic, but at the end of the day, just because you're in a relationship, right? Don't act like she's, everything to you, right? Learn how to live your life every day as if, she could leave you at any moment. And that's the kind of part of like the red pill stuff that like I do agree with, right? Women have options, You have to always sustain and be her best option. And if she sees that, she's not going to leave you, right? If she sees that you've become too submissive and you've become weak and you're complaining and bitching and you've let yourself go and you're not acting like a man, you're not acting like that provider, that leader, right? If she sees you become weak and complacent and maybe you've gotten overweight and you've forgotten how to take care of yourself and how to, even just be the leader in the relationship. She sees you like completely imploding and degrading yourself. There's a 9 times out of 10, she's gonna leave you, right? So don't take your foot off the gas pedal just because you're in a relationship, right? Always have that mindset that she could potentially leave you at any time. Don't reject yourself if rejected. That is a cool quote. Can you make a video on handle rejection from a psychological slash mental health standpoint? Yeah, I could make a video on that. But it won't be anything like that different than what I've always said, right? You need like everyone gets rejected, right? Even the most good-looking people, even the richest people in the world, even the most successful people in the world, everyone's gotten rejected for whatever reason, right? No one's perfect. It's part of the game of not just dating, but life in general. You're going to get rejected, right? So, listen, every rejection, you got to treat it like a redirection in your life to like something better. There's a reason, yeah, you got rejected. Well, you're just one step closer to what you really want, right? So, yeah, think of rejection as being one step closer to what you actually want, a redirection towards the goal that you're trying to achieve. I hope that I worded that good, but yeah, man, I think everyone gets rejected, but that's part of the process. Tips to keep girl interested in you for a long time. I think I just covered that. It's all about satisfying her long-term hypergamy, right? So just because you're in a relationship, right? Don't let yourself go. Don't act super needy as if like she's your entire world now, right? Don't mess up the things that got you into the relationship in the first place, or don't mess up the things that got her interested in you in the first place, right? It's really just continuing to live your life the best you can, right? Not acting so like not acting submissive, not acting like this girl is your whole world and you don't know what to do without her. Become a man of abundance. You always got to have that psychological thing in you to like just she will not affect, like, psychologically be aware that yeah, these women, they have a lot of options. Could they leave you at any time? Yeah, it's possible, especially today in 2025. But what can you do to prevent that? Well, you don't let your foot off the gas pedal, right? Have an abundance mindset. Continue to improve your life. Self-improvement. Don't let yourself go, all right? Don't be too needy, okay? Don't come off as like, I'll say it, don't come off as a bitch. Don't whine, don't cry, right? Don't, break down into like tears if, you get into an argument, right? So like, you know, just continue to do the things that made you that attractive, masculine, high value man, right? Lifting weights, being the leader, the provider, always leveling up, striving for greatness. Don't show these signs of like crazy levels of submissiveness and just being a bitch boy, whining, crying, complaining, bitching, right? All that stuff turns a girl off. So, yeah, it's all about just continuing to level up. Don't let your foot off the gas pedal, striving for greatness every single day, right? Don't destroy the things that got her hooked onto you in the first place. Always have to satisfy her long-term hypergamy. Man, we're going really red pill rabbit hole on this talk, but hey, I'm thinking about making like like a mini like red pill um maybe like a mini like red pill like video series. I'm gonna do it in my school community. But I think parts of this series I'm gonna post on like YouTube or something. Um, yeah, I have a lot of like there's a lot of red pill content that I think could really help, but at the same time, I'm not like that level of red pill where it's like all my thoughts and processes are like in the red pill, right? So that actually goes along with the next question, right? I'm not like a red pill Bible thumper or anything like that. But there are a lot of things that I think men can learn from the red pill for sure, which leads into this question from J Star. Is there any red pill philosophy that you do not agree with? Well, I think they're a little bit listen, I don't think I don't think it's smart. I think the red pill nowadays has kind of deviated a lot where it's like it's become very like a little too toxic, right? It's come to the point where they blame a lot of men start blaming women for like all their issues. But when you look at a lot of these men that are blaming women as the problem, right? You know, most of these guys, they have no accountability, they don't take action, they have a horrible physique. They're not on self improvement. A lot of these people that complain and whine, they're either, you know, basement dwelling black pill people or black pillars, right? Blaming genetics and things they can't control, or the red pillars that are just hyping it up, making it a lot worse than it actually is, right? The problem is they don't want to take action. I bet a lot of these people on either side, you know, you ask them when was the last time they cold approached, you know, more than 5 to 10 girls a week. None of them have ever done that. And then they're sitting there, you know, making content about women, right? When they have like not much experience, right? So, but in terms of actual red pill philosophy, I'm not necessarily against like marriage. I know a lot of red pill guys aren't the biggest fan of marriages, right? I don't see the problem necessarily. I don't think marriage is a bad thing if you vetted the girl and you've dated her for a good amount of time, right? I'm not opposed against marriage, but at the same time, like, and also like, you know, I'm not a polygamous guy, right? Like if I was exclusive with the girl, I wouldn't be dating other women. Where I know the red pill says that you should be polygamous, you know, have all these women that, you know, you're dating in addition to like your main girl. I'm not polygamous to that extent. I would never do that, right? I think if you vet the girl good, you can have, you know, just a great, healthy relationship. You can be monogamous. And if you want to get married, then yeah, you know, if you have your life together, you vetted her well, right? You've dated for a while, then why not, right? I think the red pill has a very negative connotation towards marriage. But at the same time, you know, I don't blame the people that don't get married. Like, I totally get it, right? You know, with the crazy money and divorce laws we have now in 2025, you know, is marriage the best option all the time? No. You know, would I be opposed to not getting married and just, you know, settling or like living with the girl that I'm dating long term? Would I be opposed to that and just having boyfriend girlfriend relationship and us raising a kid together? I wouldn't be opposed to that, right? Because I understand there are a lot of things that, you know, could go wrong in marriage, right? So I see the light in both ends. But it really depends, you know. Next girl that I'll date, like long term, we'll see, you know, where things end up. And if this could be a good option for me to, you know, get married. Um, but yeah, you know, we'll see where life takes me. But yeah, I think I don't necessarily agree with, you know, the stuff they say with the polygamy, one-way polygamy on your end as the man. I think when you're in an exclusive relationship with someone, right? Like that's an exclusive relationship, you know. You shouldn't be like now when you're single, right? Yeah, single, mingle, date whomever, you know, have a rotation, date tons of girls, absolutely, right? But when you're exclusive with someone, that should be your person that you're exclusive with. You shouldn't be, if you guys have established that you're in an exclusive relationship, you shouldn't be out there, dating all these other women, right? When you're in an exclusive relationship with someone. But before then, right? Date whomever, have that rotation, explore your options, have a roster of girls that you're hanging out with, right? That's the dating game in 2025. Abundance mindset. Have tons of women, go on tons of dates, right? Dating, it can be tough in 2025, but the men who are men of value, high value men, grinding, improving their looks, improving their money, improving their social skills, right? Not taking the foot off the gas pedal. Those are the winners that are going to thrive in this dating market. And the losers are going to be the ones that don't take any action, that just want to sit there and watch red pill podcasts and not take action, or sit there and watch black pill content and not take action, right? So yeah, the dating market in 2025, it's tough, but there's also a lot of people that aren't taking action. So it's not exactly as tough as you think, because there's a lot of people that are just going to sit there and complain. So are you one of those people that are going to sit there and complain, or are you going to actually take action and have your own judgments and explore the dating market yourself, right? Instead of just listening to black pill or red pill content all the time. So yeah, I went on a huge tangent there, but the whole thing with, marriage and polygamy, I don't see necessarily eye to eye on that all the time. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's not a bad thing, if you vetted the girl out to be monogamous with her, whereas the red pill is always, you as a man, one-way polygamy, right? You should date all these girls, right? As well as have like the main chick on the side. So, yeah. Do you see dating as a game? I do. Yeah, it's funny. This is a quote that I got from, I don't know who said this, but he was like, dating is similar. I think it might have been Hamza, honestly, but here's something where he was saying like it is kind of like a video game, right? It is really like a video game where every couple years or so you kind of unlock a new tier of girl. So as you continue to level up your life, you get more fit, you become more attractive, you grow into your looks, you self-improve, you get better and better. The tier of women that you're going to unlock just naturally over time, over the years, is going to get one step better and better. So I look at myself right now, like 31, 32 years old, right? Looks maxed, great shape, six pack, right? Making over 6 figures a year in my other job, own apartment, basically living a lot of the male advantage, right? The women that I'm attracting now are way more of quality than just for the women that I was attracting just 3 years ago, right? So every 3 to 4 years, as you continue to level up, not even 3 to 4 years, I'd say every 2 to 3 years, as long as you're consistent, continue to level up, you're going to just start unlocking a new number, a new level, a new grade, or a new type of women as life goes on, right? So you might be attracting, I don't know, fives right now, but I promise you, if you watch my channel and actually execute and continue to do all the good, healthy self-improvement habits and look smacks and work on your social skills, 2 to 3 years from now, there's no question. Like you should just book it. You'll be attracting sevens, sixes and sevens, right? Now, do I believe there is a looks threshold that could possibly happen? Yeah. Most people don't attract nines and tens, but if you're somebody who's attracting, say, 5 out of 10 girls right now, maybe in 2-3 years, you'll bump it up to a six. Then another 2 years, you'll bump it up to a seven, right? So continue your journey. Just think every couple of years, you're going to attract a new tier level of girl, right? Maybe not a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, but there's nothing wrong with like a healthy, wholesome, amazing 7 or 8 out of 10 girl, right? You know, and a lot of guys do this, right? You know, I would rather be long term with a 7 out of 10 than like a 9 out of 10 who's just like bitchy and crazy and has, you know, constant attention all the time, right? So, yeah. All right, how to have solid first dates. Rule number 1, no dinner first dates. She has to earn dinner. At least the first 2 dates, do not do dinner, okay? That's cardinal rule number 1. Number 2, don't do any dates that are like stationary where you're interviewing each other. So no lunch, no coffee, and then just talking to each other. That's so boring. You want to do a date where there's movement involved, right? So if you're going to grab a coffee and go for a walk in the park or do an activity first date, bowling, mini golf, something where you're like up and about moving, right? Where you can build the connection, the attraction, something that's fun, something that's, you know, yeah, something that's just fun, right? Where she could see like that fun side of you, right? Women are emotional, right? They want to experience something. They want to really feel that connection. And you're not going to get that connection by doing a stationary like coffee date or a stationary uh dinner date or anything like that, right? So you want to have dates that are like have more movement involved, right? Whether that be grabbing a coffee and going for a walk in the city near like a romantic part of town, right? Maybe there's like a nice like river walk, or it's like a fall day, the leaves are changing color. Grab a coffee, go through a nice romantic walk through the city, or do like a fun activity, right? A slightly competitive fun activity where she can really see and feel that fun side of you, right? That's what women want especially on those first dates, right? So no dinner dates, no stationary dates. Make them fun. Make them like be the type of dates where she gets to really see and experience that fun side of you. And don't be afraid to flirt, right? Don't be afraid to playfully tease, make her laugh. Don't go into the date super stiff. Don't be like, "Nice to meet you," or don't dap her up like this is one of your homies. You see her, "Nice to meet you," right off the bat, going for the hug. Sets the flirtatious vibe, the comfort zone, right? Going for the hug throughout the date, right? No, don't be afraid to, if you guys are, going for a walk in the city and then you see a bench, don't be afraid to be like, "Hey, do you want to sit and talk for a little bit?" Sit next to her on the bench, right? Don't be afraid to slowly put your arm around her, right? Little flirtatious gestures, and doing activities that are more fun, right? Activity-based dates so she can see that fun side of you. Those are all my solid first date tips. But whatever you do, man, don't be too pressed. Don't be too needy. Don't do all these dinner dates or stationary coffee dates, right? Make sure there's a bit of movement involved in the date, right? So that's my best advice on solid first dates. Hey there, I even don't use YouTube that much because it's so frustrating. Why is YouTube frustrating for you? Yeah, most of my content is on YouTube. If you want, I post content on TikTok as well. South Asian Fit on TikTok. If you wanna follow me on TikTok, that goes for anyone watching this. I started TikTok about 2 months ago, and the following's actually started to increase. So yeah, I don't know if StreamYard can also stream to TikTok. I gotta figure that out. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I have a TikTok as well. It's called South Asian Fit, and it's literally my long form YouTube videos. Um, and then I just clip them, right? I clip them up into like 1 minute shorts and I just post them onto TikTok. So if you'd rather see me on TikTok, it's just South Asian Fit. A lot of it's just my videos from YouTube just clipped up into short form content. So yeah, if you guys are also on TikTok, you can go ahead, give me a follow on TikTok. It's South Asian Fit. Naral, I guess you're talking to me, but you mispronounced my name. I think this is for me, unless you're talking to somebody else. I guess you spelled my name wrong, but has your parents ever tried to pressure you into getting an arranged marriage to a fob from India? If so, how did you handle the pressure? No. Um, but there have been talks where they've told me like, hey, they know somebody who's looking to get married. It does get annoying, but at the end of the day, like it's your life, bro. Like, what can they do? You know, if they hate you for a couple of years for not getting married, then so be it, right? Like, they'll get over it, bro. You know, at this point, my goals are like honestly to just reach that next income level. You know, really scale and grow my personal brand, this personal brand, right? Have my business take off, right? So I can really focus on this full time and I'm not always, doing like my 9 to 5 job and other stuff. I really want to grow this brand. Um, and yeah, I know my parents aren't a big fan of what I'm doing. A lot of my relatives aren't. A lot of my close friends aren't, right? For them, this is all abnormal. They think I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family, right? Doing this stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a bigger purpose to this, right? And the bigger purpose is, to retire people, like retire my family. The bigger purpose of this is financial freedom, right? My long-term goal is, I'll continue to post onto YouTube for sure for now, right? But 4, 5, 6 years down the road, right? When I've really taken off on this personal brand, I also want to create another YouTube channel where, the topic won't be dating, but my next YouTube channel, I think, and I'll still continue to post on this one, but the second YouTube channel that I want to make in maybe 4 or 5 years from now, I want it to be a channel where I help other people start their own YouTube channels, create their own personal brands, right? Because I think there's a lot of value in this platform. I think a lot of people have so much untapped potential. They have a lot of skill sets that they could potentially share to the world. And they're scared to share, they're scared to make content. They're scared to share value in the world. If there's anything I've realized these past 2 years of doing YouTube is there's so much value you could share to the world that people don't even realize. They just need to put themselves out there, make content. Because everyone's accomplished something, right? If you're in your 20s, especially, you've accomplished something in your life, something that some other younger version of yourself or some other kid is struggling with. And I believe that anybody can just, start a YouTube channel and help people on something that they themselves have accomplished. And for my next like project in 4 or 5 years down the road, when I really scaled my dating personal brand, I do eventually want to get to a point where I, have another YouTube channel, but this one's going to be more so for business and helping other people create their own YouTube channels, scaling their own personal brands, really building up their YouTube, right? Because I learned a lot about this YouTube game in the past 2 years. If I were to start a completely new channel on something completely different, knowing what I know now, my rate of growth would be so much faster. But, we'll see what the future holds, man. Geez, been talking a lot, but yeah. But yeah, that'll be like 4 or 5 years down the road. From the current day, I'm focused on really growing this YouTube channel, this personal brand, bringing it up. And by the way, if you want to support me, um, other than, watching the videos and subscribing and liking, again, I have a school community, top link in the description. just more content, more value, more guides, community forum, right? If you want to support me even one step further, you could join the school community. It's top link in the description. It's more so an extra tool for you. If you want to join that, again, South Asian Warriors School, link in the description. All right, I'm going to refill this up and answer this last round of questions, and then we're going to call it a night. All right. For minorities, do you prefer online game or day game? I say it does not matter. You need to be able to do both. You need to be able to do both. You need to be able to master both. Not day game, cold approach should be your base. You should not have approach anxiety. You should be able to go see a cute girl, not be afraid to go up, talk to her, start a conversation. Online game, I don't care what the stupid statistics say online. I mastered online game to the point where I have like I've made so many videos on Hinge. They're my some of my classic videos on my channel, where I completely break Hinge as a minority, as an ethnic guy, right? I mastered the female gaze to the point where, it's online game is flawless, so easy once you understand the female gaze and the pictures that really attract women, the qualities that women are looking for. But yeah, you need to master both, man. And if you want my help, my school community will help you master both of those easily. Top link in the description again if you're interested. I never seen an Indian guy date a perfect 10 white girl. Have you? Well, depends what everyone's criteria of a 10 is different. I don't even believe in like the perfect girl or the perfect 10 out of 10 girl, but regardless, I know plenty of Indian men personally that are with very attractive white women. I mean, I've been with so many attractive white women. So it's definitely possible. Don't let your beliefs, your inner negative beliefs, deceive you. It's 100% possible. They're Indian men with beautiful white women, right? If they can do it, why not you? Just because you haven't seen it, right, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's millions of people in the world, right? And yeah, maybe not a perfect 10, but a pretty hot 8 or 9. Absolutely. I've seen that. J Star, people have different perspectives on looks. From my perspective, I've seen Sri Lankan guys with 10 white girls. Exactly. Black pill and incel content and rehab rooms. That's why it's frustrating. Yeah, I feel you, man. But any social media platform is kind of like that now. I miss the days of YouTube way before I started in like 2023, like way before. I miss like the 2018, 2017 days when I was young and did not have any channel. And it was just dudes like Alpha M, even like just preaching like normal self improvement content. But like, yeah, I remember the days before all this black pill, red pill stuff. It was so different in this space. But now it's like all this like crazy manosphere people just came out of nowhere. Yeah, I feel you. Not gonna lie, but I feel like there are some places that are hard to get success as a brown guy, like UK, Sweden, and easy places compared to those two, like Poland, etc. What you think about it? Yeah, the location can play a factor. Um, but at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is, right? As long as you continue to control what you can control and maximize everything that you absolutely can control, right? As long as you become pretty objectively attractive, you're going to have options regardless of your race. But yeah, um, depending on, what you experience from your own personal life, if you can afford going to Poland, right? If you can afford it and there are women there that are your type, then go to Poland, right? So location can yeah, it can have a factor for sure. Um, but you know, go where you want if you can afford it. If you find one region easier for you in terms of dating compared to the other, then yeah, no one's stopping you, right? From going to the place where you want to go. That's a little bit easier, if you can afford it. So yeah, some regions will be easier than others, some regions will be harder than others, but as long as you continue to level up and control the things you can control, right? As long as you become, the more attractive you make yourself, right, the more options you're going to have, regardless of your race, location, etc. Yeah, it's Nayyar. Do you think you will ever write a book on how pick up women? Um, it's funny. Uh, I was thinking about doing something like that, but I don't know if you guys would even buy it, right? Um, if I did write it, how much like would you buy the book? Like how much would you be willing to pay for a book? Because writing a book ain't a joke, man. That's a freaking book. You gotta publish it on Amazon. You gotta hard copy, digital copy. If I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna go all out. I'm not just gonna do like a 10-page PDF guide, right? But I don't know. Maybe I might do a poll and see like if you want me to write a book on dating as an Indian guy. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. But I've definitely thought about it. But that's a lot of that's quite a hustle. But at the end of the day, it is a product that could serve the right audience. I don't know if people on this channel necessarily would even buy it, but who knows, right? We'll see. Um, yeah, if I wrote a book, would you buy it? Or how much would you buy it for? I'll tell you this, I'm not going to charge like $30 for a book, but I will see, man. It has been on my mind though. Um, but right now, I mean, I have the school community. But my second product, I mean, I could be a book, could be something else. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, I gotta see. I don't know. I don't know if my audience would necessarily buy a book, but yeah, no plans in the future um for that, but we'll see. I don't know. It's not a bad idea. What does black pilled mean? You know, I hate that term. Um, so I'm kind of debating on just not saying anything because I don't want people to watch that kind of content. But I mean, for the purposes of this, since you asked, it's basically a group of incel people that think that dating is not under their control. There are people that think that certain races and ethnicities and your results in the dating market are determined basically your results in the dating market are determined by your base genetics at birth. right? I hope that made sense. So your results in the dating market are determined by the genetics you were given at birth. So basically nothing you can control, right? It's all by chance. It's all by your genetics. Basically race, height, ethnicity, bone structures, right? All of those things determine your success in the dating market, right? And as a result, you get a lot of these incel people that complain about their race, they complain about their height, their ethnicity, their bone structures. And then black pillars take it one step further. It's like all of that combined with all these weird things where they're like critiquing people, they're putting down certain ethnicities and races. They're saying it's over for people if they're not at a certain height. It's just a very like negative space, very like brutal negative incel space. A lot of these black pillars just like to whine, complain about things that they can't control. A lot of them have never even done a single cold approach in their life. That's basically the black pill. It's just people who complain about their genetics, and the reason that they don't have success in the dating market is because of their genetics. And a lot of them are just little kids who know nothing really about the real world. A lot of them have never talked to girls, touched grass, had a lot of experiences with women. A lot of them don't have that, right? They just like to go on the internet, complain, whine, right? It's just a very like incel space. That's the black pill. Now, are there certain things that are correct from the black pill thing? Yeah, like obviously looks play a part, right? Looks are a factor. But at the same time, anyone can improve their looks. Everyone can make themselves more attractive, right? So the black pill, it's like basically looks this, looks that, genetics, ethnicity, height, but they take it too far to the point where it's like they don't want to take any accountability to improve the other parts of their life that they actually can control. Or they don't even like take accountability to even improve the looks part that they can control. A lot of these guys, they just like to sit there and complain and bitch because they don't have certain angles or certain jawline angles, or because they're a certain ethnicity, or they're not at a certain height, right? So hopefully that made sense. Black pill content for the most part can be pretty toxic. So better off watching self-improvement red pill content, if I'm being honest, than black pill content. There's a book called How to Date a White Woman, a practical guide for Asian men. I don't know why that's funny, bro. I'm about to start laughing. You guys, and I think part of the problem too with why a lot of people kind of look down on Indian men, it's a strange obsession with white women, man. I don't get like you guys are so obsessed sometimes with white women. It cracks me up. They're just women, bro. Who cares? Like white, black. In my opinion, the way I see it, like if they're attractive, right? But you know, I hey, a lot of what can I say? A lot of Indian men love white women. There's a book called How to Date a White Woman, a practical guide for Asian men. Look it up on Google. If you can write a book like that, it would be helpful for us Indian guys. Um, well, here's the thing. Like, listen, like, not every Indian guy is like obsessed with white women to that extent, right? A lot of them are, but not every single one. I think regardless, not even I know, like, here's the thing, right? Regardless of whatever her race is, the book should have just been called like How to Date Attractive Women, a practical guide for maybe Indian men. I think a book like that will serve you more value than How to Date White Women. Because at the end of the day, regardless of her race, if she's attractive, right? The same principles apply when it comes to attracting women, regardless of their race, right? But yeah, I mean, I could write something maybe similar to that. So, oh no, this does sound kind of interesting though. I'll take a look at it. In Sri Lanka, there are coastal towns and there are beach boys, very dark, experts in surfing, curly hair. And when tourist season comes, it's not uncommon to see those guys with white girls. That's what I'm saying. I said that in my video today. I'm like, if you pick up a lot of hobbies that are more diverse, right, then you'll attract women of like various races, including white women, right? A lot of white women are into these like water type of sports, right? I know a lot of us Indian guys, we don't even like go to the pool. A lot of us don't even know how to swim. But that's what I'm saying. If you pick up more diverse hobbies, right, you'll meet more women outside of your race. You'll meet a lot of white women. So jet skiing, surfing, just skiing in general, snowboarding, do more sports, more diverse hobbies, better chance to date more women outside of your race, right? The book author is Adam Kwan. Interesting. Never got why a lot of Indian guys, especially fobs, sim extra hard over white chicks. I think just because of in India, it's like this mentality of, I don't know. A lot of like Bollywood in India, they like cast a lot of lighter skinned, like a lot of lighter skinned actors and actresses. So I think because Bollywood's pretty big, a lot of Indian people think like, oh, look at all these popular like lighter skinned actresses and actresses. Oh, they're all light skinned. Oh, they're promoting the West. Oh my God, like white people must be this whole new next level because Bollywood only casts lighter people, right? It's like they're trained to think that lighter skinned is better, right? So I think just yeah, Indian guys, a lot of Indian guys from like the home country kind of get a little like brainwashed into thinking like white is more superior. I don't know. I'm surprised you're still up, bro. Thought you went to bed early, but woke up super early too. Yeah. It's 11 p.m. and I was supposed to end this. I started the live kind of late. I was supposed to end this at like 10:30. I started this like 30 minutes late. So I'm probably gonna end this in the next 5 minutes, honestly. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get much sleep tonight because I wake up at 5 a.m. But hey, sometimes you don't get much sleep, man. But yeah, no, I'm gonna end this in the next 5 minutes. Then I do gotta go to bed. Thanks for looking out. Thought you support race niche appeal, so why not? Okay, here's the thing about race niche appeal, right? I say this in my videos. Usually, what happens is people tend to date more within their own race, right? Most couples date within their own race, okay? However, when you're a minority in a westernized country, is it going to be uncommon? Yeah. Is it going to be a little bit more difficult? Yeah, but it's not going to be impossible, right? And I always say this in my videos, the more attractive you make yourself, the more options you're going to have regardless of your race. Attractive meaning looks, fashion, style, social skills, inner game, outer game, how you socialize, flirt, escalate, the whole package, right? Regardless of your race, the more attractive you make yourself, the more options you're just going to have, right? So, yeah, is it harder being a minority, an Indian guy in a westernized country or area, trying to date outside of your race. Yeah, it's a little bit harder, but it's not impossible the more attractive you make yourself. So yeah, most couples tend to date within their own race, but as the world, goes on, there's more interracial marriages, more interracial couples. You just got to make yourself more attractive in all these areas of life, and universally, objectively, you're going to have more options. So stop complaining about your race, control what you can control. So level up what you can control in all areas of life: looks, money, social skills, increase your sexual market value so you can be more objectively attractive to any race. So eventually you can get the girl that you want, whatever your type is. So yeah, that's my long spiel on race niche appeal, man. So yeah. Funny question, but what do you think Korean and Japanese Koreans are kind of racist towards brown even more than whites, I guess? I have no idea, bro. I literally do not know any Korean people in my inner circle right now. I'm not saying this to be mean, but I legit don't know the last time I've hung out with someone that's like, yeah. I'm trying to think if I have any like Asian friends, like Oriental Asian friends, that are Korean, but I don't know. I don't know any off the top of my head now that I think about it. Nah, that's messed up if they really are. My hobby is horse polo. Is that a good hobby to attract white women? I have no idea, bro. Maybe. What the hell is horse polo? Let me look this up. Horse polo. Damn, whatever this is, this looks white AF. I'm sure it is, man. I'd say just surfing, skiing, book clubs, cooking clubs, run clubs. I think run clubs right now are your safest best bet for hobbies. That makes sense. By the way, I really liked your most recent vid on the infield cold approach with the light skin black chick, I think. Great to see a variety in approaches and even the receipts themselves. Yeah, that was interesting, man. So that was actually kind of interesting. I couldn't the problem is like when you don't have somebody to record you, you got to use these like camera glasses, and I couldn't record the entire time because these stupid glasses have this like blinking white light, and I didn't want her to like notice that light always flashing. So I had to like pause throughout the Insta date, the recording, and then I just randomly record at random times throughout the date, which is what I believe you saw in the infield. There was more. Let's just say there's a little more that happened on that date, which I didn't put on YouTube just because you never know who might find that entire clip. And let's just say the last part of that date was a little business meeting, somewhere not outside. So that was that was a good day, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, no, that just goes to show, man. Infield, you just never know who you can meet. Um, yeah, you just never know who you can meet, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't underestimate cold approach. You could get a date like right then and there, like I did in that infield. Very fun date, if you know what I'm saying. But nah, she was cool. We had a very, very fun date. I'll let you use your imagination. What time do you have to wake up in the morning tomorrow? Um, Technically, the latest I could push it to is 6 a.m., bro. Um, Ideally, I should wake up at 5, but it's probably gonna be like 5:30 at this point. It's the problem with me, man. I get wrapped up in all this stuff, and I like answering your questions, and then like once I start, I just don't stop. But all right, I'm gonna go through a couple more, call it a day. Let's see. I guess that's a compliment. Mr. Date lays on first approach is mad rare. I'll let you use your imagination, but yeah. All I'm gonna say is we had fun, man. I'll let you speculate. I wish I could have gotten that in more footage of that. It was just like if I kept recording on the glasses, she would have been like, why is there this constant white light flashing on the glasses, you know? Because it's annoying because to take her from a random girl walking on the street to the coffee shop and just recording that and me trying to turn my head, she would see that white light, right? So that's also kind of why it was like I only got really a chance to get 3 random snippets of the Insta date instead of the straight recording. But the whole point of that was to just show you that you never know who you can meet, right? You don't have to just keep swiping on the apps, you know? You could just literally your next date could be tomorrow in your closest town center if you just do something similar to what I did. Just go up, approach, go on the Insta date. No way. Horse polo is originally a brown man's sport and started in Persia, India. England took over India and then saw horse polo. Dang, some history right here. Don't you think indirect approach is way more better than going direct like, hey, I saw you from there, you look cute? No, indirect approach is really stupid unless there's like something very clear and obvious to go off of. Like if you see her and she's wearing like a sports jersey or like a city logo or she has like something written on her shirt, then yeah, you can indirect approach and comment on something like that. But most of the time, like, why waste your time, right? Like, women aren't dumb. You know what I mean? Make your intent known right from the bat. As long as you're not creepy and you're not weird and you're just say, excuse me, I noticed you. I had to stop you. I thought you were cute. Wanted to say hi, introduce yourself. That line's worked so much better than me doing a indirect, like, hey, do you know where the closest Starbucks is? Hey, I need some directions to Cold Stone. Do you know where it is? Oh, by the way, actually, I'm just kidding. I don't need directions. I just thought you were cute. Nah, man. Like, that's the thing. You're a man. Always be direct on these, right? Now, don't be a creep. Don't be like, oh, you're hot. Just be like, I thought you were attractive. I wanted to say hi. That's it, right? So you're a man. Just be direct. No need to feed around the bush, okay? Women aren't dumb. So, yeah, that's why I always say direct approach, man. Would be nice to see more stuff like that. Like how long should Insta dates and set realistic expectation when approaching Insta lays? Yeah, I mean, I could. That's the thing. Like me doing these too. Like nowadays, YouTube is so strict. Like there's so many other dating coaches getting their channels completely nuked and taken down from doing this kind of content in terms of like Insta dates and all of that. There was a guy, I think his name was like Squatting Casanova. He's like an Asian dating coach. His entire channel got like taken down because he was doing like all these types of dates where he would show like start to finish and then take it one step further to like the bedroom, right? So that's why, you just never know nowadays with the strict policies and cancel culture. But I'll definitely, I'll see from time to time, every now and then, I'll sprinkle in some infield when I can. I'll try and do breakdowns like that last video that I did. But yeah, man. I mean, if you want, I think now more of these types of stuff, I'm gonna just be putting them on my school community. It's exclusive, you know. I don't want to be putting them all like on YouTube. So if you like that type of content, man, I'd consider joining the school community because I'm gonna do a lot more I just feel more comfortable posting onto an exclusive platform like my school community, where I know I have like a dedicated group of guys that's not gonna like, nuke or like leak my content out, right? I'd rather just have them, I'd rather just have them all be posted on like an exclusive community where I have like a committed group of guys that I know that's not going to leak the content, as opposed to blasting them on YouTube. I'll do cold approach content like infields, sprinkle them in every once in a while. But I think for the most part, most of these infields going forward, I'm just going to post them on my exclusive school community. It's just more, more less risky. And the people that join there are like my super like committed people that I know aren't gonna leak anything, right? Because when you do it on like YouTube, you just blasting these infields across YouTube, you never know who could watch them. So yeah, I'll post infield every once in a while on YouTube, but I don't think it's gonna be like crazy, like constant infield like that. But regardless, man, no, I appreciate, the support, and I'm glad like that infield that I did post, you liked it and you learned from it. All right, guys. That is enough for today. I've been talking for nearly 2 hours. Got to go to sleep, unfortunately. And yeah, tomorrow's a new day. Got to wake up, do my morning routine, hit the gym. Got a bunch of videos to film, script, edit this weekend. Got a couple dates to go on too. And yeah, busy weekend, but more content on the way. Be sure to like the stream, thumbs it up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Check out the school community, link in the description. And yeah. So, all right, guys. All right, I'll answer this dude's question real quick. Crazy question, but have you seen Indian guys spend so much money on? Oh God, I asked because we all know they are desperate for. So, a couple of years ago, I went to a bachelor party, and there was this Indian uncle who's like, I don't know, okay, maybe not. He's not an uncle, but he's like 10 years older than me, right? And he was married, and he spent money on one of these white, you know what. And at the time, I was like, this is insane, you know? And I still think it's insane. You should never, like, that's just the biggest level of like degeneracy ever, is to ever spend money on anything like that. So yeah, I've seen degenerate Indian guys spend money on that type of stuff. It's unfortunate, but I think the bigger picture here, other than the fact that the ones that do spend money are degenerates, other than that, it's the fact that they're just unhappy with the girl that they settled down with too, right? Desperation for white women, inferiority complex, as well as the Indian guy who does spend money on this is either super desperate and has that white inferiority complex, or they're just in some type of relationship with the girl that might have been arranged and they're not happy with that girl, right? So yeah, it's sad to see. But hey, as a content creator, as a self-improvement content creator helping brown men, watch my channel and you'll never have to be a degenerate and do any of that degenerate crap ever again if you implement all the tips that I give you. So level up, become the best high value version of yourself in all areas of life, self-improvement, increase your sexual market value, and you'll be able to attract any woman, any race. Promise you that. So anyways, that's the end of the stream. Like, subscribe if you haven't, give the stream a thumbs up, and join the school community if you're interested. Catch you in the next live stream or the next video. Peace. Good night.